play and call it work. MiniWarGaming's Deffwatch.
Hey everybody, Matthew and Lee here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to this behind-the-scenes trailers, teasers, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be interviewing Lee about how he made these awesome Deffwatch models. There you go. That's what this is. This is going to be a series of videos. We're going to actually go through all 10 members of the Deffwatch. Now, if you're not sure what the heck we're even talking about, the Deffwatch is a narrative campaign that is coming to the vault near the end of September as part of the celebration of our 10th year anniversary for MiniWarGaming. And so both Lee and I have put a lot of effort into this campaign. Lee on the side of the models, doing a fantastic job. How much time do you think you put into all these? Was it a month? Was it 5 weeks?
In total?
For these models?
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Including the painting?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it didn't take that long. As soon as I got started, I just couldn't stop.
But those are 3 full-time weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So at least 120 hours.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a lot of hours put into all of this. And I've spent a couple of weeks full-time just writing all the rules for it. We've already started shooting, and by the time you're watching this, we'll be well into the production of everything. But we can expect that to come out. We don't have an exact date as of the making of these videos, but we will be publishing more about that on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, so you can stay tuned for that. So this will be the first of 10 videos where we give each of the character a spotlight, and I will tell you their background, the lore about how they were made, and I mean like in the lore how they were made. And then I'm going to be interviewing Lee to talk about how he custom built.
How they were made.
How they were made in the real world, and not in the fictitious world. So because each model is actually 100% custom built from kit bash from a lot of different things. Yeah. They're not even based off of orc models. They're actually based off of, well, we're going to get into all of that, as you're going to see. The average one is quite big, and that's what we wanted. If the background of this, just a really quick background, is we have Face Stompa. If you watched the last Deffwatch campaign, then you might have remembered a war boss, Face Stompa, who made a brief appearance before being buried under a pile of rubble, before he shredded his way out, just like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I think it was. It was like, I'm still alive, and sulking back to his fleet of ships. But essentially he shares his identity with an ancient alien that actually was there when the orcs were built. And the jewel of Ymir that he has on him that's whispering the secrets of the past of how to unlock Orc Engineering. There's reasons that the Ymirian wants this done, but Face Stompa has learned how to do that, and he spent the past few years essentially being like the Emperor of Mankind in his own genetic engineering labs, trying to build perfect orcs that are bigger, better, stronger, smarter than any orc that's ever been around. If you know of the Beast from The Beast Arises from 32K, that almost destroyed humanity, he wants to be better than that guy. Although he is a bit of an idol to Face Stompa right now, but eventually he wants to be even better than him. But it's taken him years to come this far, and so the Deffwatch narrative campaign is going to be all about the first 10 super orcs that he engineered. So they are the Deffwatch, so D-E-F-F watch, as you can see. But they each are very powerful, very smart, and will make for a great campaign. So that's the background. We'll be getting more into the story later on. So this first video, which guy are we going to focus on for the first video? The Stormboy, your very first one?
Yeah, the first one.
The Stormboy, the very first model, which has a fun backstory of how he was first created, which we'll get into in just a second. So let's take a closer look at the Stormboy. This is Wazgrub Snotgrim. Calling him an Orc Stormboy does not do him justice, but he is based off of the Stormboy gene, the Stormboy cast. Orc Stormboys, of course, are known for their impetuous desire to get to the fight as quickly as possible, and Wazgrub is no exception. In fact, Face Stompa not only didn't try to suppress this part of the Orc gene, he expanded on it to make Wazgrub utterly addicted to adrenaline rushes, resulting in the Stormboy pushing himself harder and harder to see how fast he can go. Just a little quick note. I am going to post the rules for these as these videos go up, so a link in the video description below will give you the rules that I have. I have to warn you that it's possible that that'll be changed by the time the campaign actually comes out, but most likely what you're seeing at this point is what we have been using in the thing. And they actually have power level and points, so you can use them in your own games, but obviously with the permission of your opponent. I've tried to make, I wouldn't say balanced is the key word there, but with the power level or points, they should work. Waz Grub this Orc Stormboy would have already had a very short lifespan if it weren't for the fact that Face Stompa gave all the Deffwatch a hugely increased endurance, muscle structure, and regenerative abilities, allowing Waz Grub to catapult himself into battle after battle and just shrug off any major injury that would follow. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but having filmed the first few games, he has held very true to that backstory of just loving to get into the thick of things, and it usually causing him some pain, but he just keeps wanting to do it over and over again. So Waz Grub is the first model that was created by Lee, and the funny backstory that I wanted to tell about this was that I was first telling you about this idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how long ago, a couple months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And
I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right off the bat.
And I was starting to ask you questions about like what models could we base it off of, because I don't want them to be I want them to be huge. I want them to be bigger than orcs, but still the right proportions.
Yeah.
And so we were going back and forth, and we talked about the different things that were out there. And a lot of the models have limitations to how you can use them. Like we found some models that were big enough, like the War Boss model is big enough, but it's like the way that the pieces are doesn't really...
He doesn't like lend himself to conversion that much.
No, not really. And so what we ended up settling on is the Ogryn body from the Astra Militarum. And the funny part of the story is that I went back to my work and I told him, like, well, you know, the stuff you're working on right now, just keep working on that, and I'll let you know, and we want to get the Deffwatch started. And what was it, like 2 hours later?
Maybe.
2 hours later, he comes up and he goes, like this? It didn't look exactly like this. It wasn't painted, and it didn't have some of the extra bits on it. But it was like 90% this. And
He had the backpack and the weapon.
he already had the backpack and the weapons and the basic body structure and the head. It was obviously an orc head. And I just laughed. And to be honest, if I'm going to be totally honest here, I may have intended for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because I know when it comes
knows
to
how
Lee,
to get me started.
yeah, if you give Lee a big like line of stuff to do, he'll get it done. But if you want truly artistically inspired stuff, then what you do is you give Lee the idea and let him run with it. And that's essentially what we're going to find with all of these. Is I gave you a basic archetype, but in the end I said build it the way that would be fun for you to build, and then I will write rules based around the model itself. So walk us through this model in particular. Why don't you grab the Orc Boy
to
show
the size?
Yeah, let's show the size.
He's actually on a pretty tall base too.
Yeah,
so.
that's fine. That's fine, because it'll
So
still...
he's tiny.
Yeah, that's an orc that's on a cork base, so he's actually another few millimeters taller than he actually is. You can see a size comparison there, which is perfect. So that's an Ogryn body. So go walk through the process of all the different parts of it.
Well, I just grabbed I actually have an Ogryn, so we can show it.
There's an Ogryn.
So what I did is, it's an Ogryn body with an Orc head,
Essentially.
pretty much.
Yeah. Hey, you can look at the muscle structure, and it's pretty much the same and everything.
It didn't change anything. Some of the weapons, like the one with the axe, that's actually the Orc hand. But
What weapon is that from?
That's a knob chopper, big chopper.
Okay, so it actually is just a big chopper.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
They're big. I guess that's what they call big choppas.
Yeah.
And the Orc head is just an Orc head, or is it a knob head?
That one, I'm going to take a look at it. That's from one of the Stormboys.
So it's actually a Stormboy.
It's not even a knob head.
Wow.
Or it might actually be a knob head. I'm not
So
sure.
why does the scale work then?
I don't
If the
know.
bodies are so much...
Because their heads are pretty big. If you look at
Is it just because they have enormous heads?
the boy, his head is pretty big.
Yeah, I guess it is.
And the knob heads are a bit bigger.
So it's a Stormboy knob head.
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm awful at this. No, it might be just a regular knob.
This is the first one you made, so
Yeah.
it's the longest time ago.
Yeah, it's been, what, 2 months now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I didn't write anything down. I just got it done.
I tried to take pictures as we went along, but to be honest, it was tough to keep up with them, because every couple hours you'd have like another one half done or something like that. So in a perfect world, we'd have like a whole production team just filming what you're doing, but unfortunately we don't have the resources to do that. So what about the backpack? Tell us about the backpack.
The backpack is the Stormboy backpack, but it's 3 of them. He's a big guy, and he has to be able to fly, right?
Yeah.
So I just took 2 identical ones and one a bit different, and made a
And stuck them together.
triple jump pack for him.
So this guy is actually pretty straightforward.
It's really basic.
What about that armor that he's wearing?
That's the ogre armor.
So, that's exactly what the ogre armor looks like? Oh yeah, it is. It is
Exactly the
identical.
same.
Would you look at that?
I did take some of the jaw plates they have and made the arm guards and the toe guards.
Okay, yes, so down on those toes, as you can see right there.
But other than that, he's just...
And the skulls? What about the skulls?
Skulls came from an Orc kit. I think it's the knob kit. They have
So
more
just
like
some
a...
little bits.
Yeah, like a buckle plate with skulls on it.
Now, one thing a lot of converters might have a bit of envy with for Lee is that we have a lot of spare bits for you down in the basement.
Yeah, we do.
Just models that we've ordered for one purpose or another and then didn't end up using, or leftovers from other things we did use.
Because don't throw out bits, kids.
Well, we used to.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't, or for those first few years of MiniWarGaming, we'd have entire storage lockers full of bits, which obviously wasn't really good. But once you started working for us, they started keeping bits.
Yeah.
And even asking painters who did stuff to return extra bits.
Yeah,
we
because
were finding we were running out of them.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
No, we didn't need to. I always told them to keep them because, honestly, we would just throw them out because we didn't do this kind of stuff. So now, ever since you've been working for us, we've been keeping a lot more. So very straightforward. Now, okay, since this is our first one, let's talk about the color scheme. Now, I gave you license to do whatever color you wanted, with the exception of like one that already existed.
Yeah.
Because this is Clan Face Stompa. They're not Bad Moons, they're not Evil Sons, they're not
Goths or
they're not
Blood
Goths or
Axes
Blood Axes or whatever. They are his own clan. Like he's creating his own genetically engineered clan within them, so much so that they are totally bound to his will. So why did you choose this color scheme?
Quickest answer, I don't know.
You don't know?
It's because it didn't exist and I thought it might look good with the green.
So why white though? Isn't white really hard to pull off?
Not if you know what you're doing. No, the method I use is the Stippling Method. People have seen Josh's Mechanicum army.
Right.
Because this...
It's a similar color to his Mechanicum army, isn't it?
And there's a similar method. I do them in metal first. Like completely, the whole model in metal. And then I stipple on grey, and then I stipple on white.
Right.
And just leave the spaces where I want scratches.
Right.
And I remember Cullen was helping me doing one of these, and he had to unlearn everything he knew about painting.
In order to get it right?
Yeah, because he was like, I just feel like I should be covering everything. I was like, no. You want it to look bad.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to look like it's been a little battle worn, right?
Yeah, and scratched up.
And they're also orcs.
Yeah.
It's not like orcs are going to meticulously paint their armor like Space Marines. So why not, right? I remember when you first brought it to me, and you're like, the color scheme is one that'll grow on you the longer you look at it. Which I thought was a funny thing to say from somebody who chose the color scheme. It's like, hey, you're not going to like this right at first, but you're going to like it over time. And I have to admit, you were right. At first when I saw it, I'm like, not the colors I would have chosen, but I wanted to give you free license with this. I wanted this to be your creation. But you're right, over time, as I've played with them, and as I've lined them up into big groups.
Yeah, they kind of look like they shouldn't be any other color.
Yeah, and then somebody pointed out, I posted the picture of the group of them on Facebook, and somebody pointed out saying, are they white because they're Deffwatch and Deathwatch are black? And I'm like, yeah,
yes,
exactly that reason.
Totally why.
Yeah, I admitted that wasn't the reason, but I thought that it was.
But someone else commented on that picture about white being like the color of bone and death.
That too, sure.
Which
is funny because in the end you just chose it because you wanted to.
Yeah,
there wasn't this great thought process behind it.
Yeah, I've never seen a white orc army.
Yeah. And eventually what would be cool, as this narrative of Face Stompa continues, it won't be happening in this this campaign, I'll tell you that for sure, because it's going to focus on the Deffwatch, is if he's able... The Deffwatch campaign, essentially, Steve and Quirk are going to be playing the two kill teams, as you're going to see. And he is part of Quirk's kill team. I guess we didn't point that out yet. There's two. There's a brutal team and a cunning team, led by twins, which we'll be covering. And the brutal team is Quirk, and the cunning team is Steve. And so the Stormboy, being more brutal than cunning, is in Quirk's team. But anyway, so we're going to be focusing more on those teams. But it would be cool to create an actual full orc army in this color scheme.
With like tracks.
Yeah, and the funny thing is we have orcs and we have an orc army, but we don't really have a cohesive orc army, because we had the one when Dan used to work for us a long time ago. He did one, which he got like 90% done. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of not finished painting, the bases aren't done, but it was early on in MiniWarGaming's life, very early on. And then Quirk
did his Mad Max.
He did his Mad Max one, so we have like the one that you see right there, where we have. Here, I'll show it to you right here.
The Wah boy.
Yeah, where he tried to go for the lighter skin to kind of represent the boys from Mad Max, and then they're all on these kind of rusty-looking Quirk bases. So whenever you see those, you know that's Quirk that did those. I think he did a good job with those. But we don't have like a full army of these, so he always has to mix and match from different
Then you have
armies.
some of my old orcs.
And then I bought your old orcs, which are just kind of the reddish.
Yeah, they're just
your typical Evil Sun's color. And so it would be really cool to have a cohesive 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 point orc army that's this color scheme. I'm not saying you have to do the painting. You just have to know how you do
But
the
if you
painting.
want it to look the same, I kind of have to.
Yeah, maybe. I found that once we have an exact like painting color scheme
Yeah.
PDF that we've created, that painters typically are able to make things look a lot
Yeah.
like what we have originally. Either way, that's all we're going to talk about in this first video. I think we've gone on long enough. There's the backstory of the Stormboy. This is the first video in the series. We are going to be going through 9 more that we'll be releasing over the coming weeks. So stay tuned for those. If you want to make sure you don't miss them, then do 2 things, or 3 things if you really want to. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/MiniWarGaming. If you're on that right now, make sure you like this page and make sure you follow it so you can get it in your feed. If you're on YouTube watching this, make sure you subscribe. And then head over to Facebook. I'll put all the links below. And the third one would be to get on our newsletter. If you are already, just register on MiniWarGaming.com and you get added to our newsletter. And I'll put a link to that below as well. All those will make sure you don't miss the notifications when we put more of these up. But you can stay tuned for more of our behind the scenes of how Lee made the Deffwatch orcs coming soon. And you can stay tuned for the Deffwatch narrative campaign coming to the vault later in September. Happy wargaming.